Hello everybody. Let's introduce the topic for this unit, which is fallacies. Like a lot of academic contexts or academic words, fallacies is a fancy word just to describe something very simple, and that very simple thing just is a bad argument. Or in other words, an argument whose conclusion you should not accept as likely to be true or accept with confidence. Basically, fallacies are ways in which we tend to be deceived into thinking that something is true and supported by the evidence or supported by reasons when upon further evaluation it actually isn't. So there's a few fallacies that have already come across our class for this semester. Some fallacies are formal fallacies. So you might have recalled this when we were discussing argument forms. We do have good argument forms like modus ponens that tells us that if you know that an argument has this form, if A, then B, A, so B, that this argument will be valid, that whatever follows this form, the argument is such that if the premises are true, the conclusion will follow. Now remember, just because it's valid doesn't mean the argument's good. It could have a false premise, but if the premises are true, the conclusion follows from them. Now there are other forms that are not valid, like if A, then B, not A, so not B. So let's go back to the good version first. So over here, if it rains, the game is canceled. So if A is a placeholder for it rains or it's raining, and B is filled in with the game is canceled, then this argument goes like this. If it's raining, then the game is canceled. We know that it's raining, so the game is canceled. And if the premises are true, the conclusion will follow. But let's go over this one. If it's raining, then the game is canceled. It's not raining, so the game is not canceled. Now notice, even if the premises are true, let's just assume that they are. Let's assume that it really is true that if it rains, the game is canceled. And it really is true that it's raining outside, or it's not raining outside. This may be true, but it's not guaranteed to be true. Games can be canceled for other reasons. So this fallacy by form is called denying the antecedent. And that is because this is the antecedent of the conditional, this is the consequent of the conditional. So this is a formal fallacy. You can't trust that the conclusion is true even if the premises are true. All right, so we've looked at formal fallacies. We've also looked at some fallacies that are caused by language or ambiguity in language. And whenever there's ambiguity in language, it can make something that seems to be valid, maybe by the way the words are structured or the sentences are structured. It can seem to be valid but not actually be valid because we've changed the meaning of the term. So you may recall I used as an example of an ambiguous word, the word bank. So what if I had something that looked like a nice modus ponens argument, which is if I'm at the bank, then, or if I go to the bank, then I'll have money. I went to the bank, so I have money. This looks like a modus ponens argument, so it looks like it's formally valid. But if I mean the word bank here to be a monetary institution and I mean bank here to mean the side of the river, then this has the appearance of being a valid argument, but it isn't, because really the form of this argument is if A, then B, C, so B, because these two words don't mean the same thing, so they really should have different letters as they do over here. And clearly this is an invalid argument. Nobody would look at that form and think that if you think the premises are true, then the conclusion should follow. So those are what we've discussed so far. So in the next video, we're going to jump into informal fallacies, fallacies that are not based on either just ambiguity in language or the formal structure, but really more on psychological considerations, things that just seem to trick us as human beings. All right, I hope you're having a